5:06, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends and welcome on in. It is a Fry-yay, Joan Jones, and I can't say how loudly yay I am excited to that it's Friday.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Another fatal crash on 24.
It's the most bizarre scene.
We have seen how many in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
It's crazy and incredibly sad, too. So that is going to be
that
24.
tractor trailer. Yeah, 24 at Bradley Parkway or Thompson Lane. You know, it's different on either side of the roadway. But you've got to take one other way to go around it. So, of course, that would be Murfreesboro Pike or Nolensville Pike.
You're saying 24 east, west, north, south?
East side.
East side, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, it feels like just several times in the last couple of weeks, we've had these fatal crashes, especially on 24. So
that one's the most bizarre looking one. Like, in my head, I'm trying to figure out what happened here. Because
you said the car is all smashed up.
The back of the car is just destroyed. And there was one person in that car, and that person has died.
Okay.
The truck, now both the truck and the car are up the embankment, and it is a steep embankment.
Okay.
So it looks like the truck hit the back of the car. How that happened, I don't know. You know, was the car trying to cross in front of the truck to get off the exit ramp?
Was the car maybe stalled in lanes
Perhaps.
or whatever? Because, I mean, we're talking about overnight,
Perhaps.
and
Yeah.
so you've got to... I mean, unless the vehicle, for whatever reason, stopped in the middle of traffic lanes, maybe it was off to the side of the road and the truck hit the car off the side of the road. I don't know. We don't know. But suffice to say, 24 is going to be a wreck. Any word on when that's going to open back up?
They do not have a word on it at this point. I just checked on that. There's no estimation yet.
All right. Well, thank you, Joan. And keep us updated. It is 5:08 on Nashville's Morning News. Afton Bain strikes again. All right. So I want to talk about Afton Bain and what she said yesterday in response to what she said years ago about the city of Nashville. How serious is this? By the way, I've noticed that a lot of the local media, I don't know if you saw this, Joan, a lot of the local media have ignored this story of Afton Bain saying that she hates Nashville. And I'm
to
not
their credit, Fox 17 is not ignoring it. Yeah.
Fox 17, as far as I can tell, Fox 17 is the only local media outlet that is covering it.
Yeah.
The Tennessean did mention it, but they mentioned it in the framework, the perspective of GOP attacking Afton Bain. Here's the thing, though. Like, it's not like she didn't say these words. It's not like, you know, she is even denying that she said it. In the statement that she made yesterday, I've got all the details, but in the statement that she made yesterday regarding this video, she actually didn't even acknowledge the video existed. So this is, in case you missed the show yesterday, this is Afton Bain. She's running for the 7th, and this is what she said a couple of years ago on a podcast.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and I'm like, they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad.
They're so loud.
All right, so that was the video, that's the audio that dropped from a podcast that she was on years ago. And so a lot of people, including yours truly, just pointing out the obvious that Afton Bain literally wants to represent a part of Nashville that she says that she hates, the 7th Congressional District. So then yesterday she tried to clarify. This story went everywhere. It was at the top of the Daily Mail in the UK. But apparently, you know, not newsworthy enough to be covered in the local media, which I find interesting. So we'll have to see if our, you know, friends over at WSMV or Channel 5 or the Tennessean, I don't know who I missed there, but if they ultimately decide to pick up on the story, I can tell you, though, that if this was Matt Van Epps who had said something like this, I mean, the media, I assume, would be all over this. And so she didn't actually apologize In the statement that she made yesterday, she actually did not apologize for the tape, nor did she really seem to acknowledge that the tape existed. This is what she said yesterday in response. Listen close.
Today, the Republicans decided that they're going to start this narrative that me, the state representative who represents downtown Nashville, doesn't like the city. Now, I always want Nashville to be better, right? I want Nashville to be a place where working people can thrive, right? But sure, I get mad at the Bachelorette sometimes. I get mad at the pedal taverns, right? And you're talking to someone who has cried no less than 10 times in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Okay, now, a couple of things. First of all, and there's more, but I want to handle these things one by one. So number one is she doesn't even acknowledge that this tape exists. She says, well, the Republicans are accusing me of not liking Nashville, the Tennessee representative for Nashville.
She said it herself.
You said the words,
I
Afton.
know, right?
That's it. Matt Walsh actually, responded and said, well, you said it. Republicans aren't, making this up out of whole cloth. You said it. And so for her not to even acknowledge the tape exists, and for her randomly, she's just going to say, oh, yeah, the Republicans are trying to say that I don't like Nashville. Never acknowledging why the Republicans are saying that. Number two, do you actually believe that she cries when she goes to the Country Music Hall of Fame? I don't believe if she said that she hates country music, then why would she cry going to the Country Music Hall of Fame? Do you know what I'd be curious to find out? Is there any way to prove, and Joan, you might be able to figure this out. Is there any way to prove that she's actually been to the Country Music Hall of Fame? Does she have like a season pass to the Country Music Hall of Fame? Can we find some receipts that shows that she's been to the Country Music Hall of Fame 10 times? Now, maybe she's been there for some sort of events or something like that.
Right.
But I'm sorry, but I'm calling her out. Because I don't believe that she has cried. I've been to the Country Music Hall of Fame, I believe, twice. Now, you people know that I cry at movie trailers. I cry sometimes at concerts. I'm just a natural-born crier, and I don't know why, but I do. And so I've never cried at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Not once. And so I'd be curious to know, okay, what exactly did you cry over at the Country Music Hall of Fame? She also claims that she goes to the Ryman just to hang out.
The girl that just goes to the Ryman to hang out. No, we're not even going to go there.
All right, so we're not even going to go there is what Afton Bain says. Here's the question, though. Do you believe what she's trying to sell? I mean, I don't believe that she is being 100% truthful here. Clearly not. I think that she realizes that she made a mistake. I think there's a reason why, and we discovered this yesterday, they pulled down the entire podcast. But not before, Joan. There is another piece of audio that was taken from the podcast.
Ooh.
And wait till you hear it. It's coming up next. It is 5:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. 5:15, Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather goes, I don't have my official weather forecast in front of me, Joan. Here's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I am seeing some rain possible in the afternoon. And I'm seeing cloudy and rainy like all day. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah. Plus, there's a dense fog advisory right now through 8 o'clock this morning. Pretty foggy again today. Same thing.
Okay.
And there's a low chance of severe weather this evening. So it's just going to be your garden variety rainy day.
All right. Very good. Thank you, Joan. I appreciate it. It is 5:16 on Nashville's Morning News. So, Joan, have you heard the additional Afton Bain audio from this podcast?
No, this is going to be news to me.
Well, it's not going to be all that big of a deal because she pretty much falls in line with the rest of the Republicans. Afton Bain.
But for me, it was like...
By the way, she's talking about Donald Trump's Donald Trump's victory.
Yeah.
And how Donald Trump has done, better over the last couple of elections. And certainly he did better this time around. But she's talking about the election of Joe Biden, which Joe Biden won. But listen to what she says about Republicans.
I mean, it was this like really honest, raw and naked criticism of white folks in a way that I needed post the election, because I literally, like, Biden won, but racism won. And maybe that's the title of the pod. It's like more people decided that this racist, white supremacist bigot deserved your vote at the ballot box than any other person.
So that is Afton Bain calling Donald Trump a racist, white supremacist bigot. Now, that falls in line with the rest of the Democrats. I mean, I don't believe that is all that earth-shattering that Afton Bain would say something like this. But Donald Trump did receive a ton of the black vote this time around. But I don't know what she means when she says Joe Biden won, but racism won. Like, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Because if Joe Biden won, or is she saying that Joe Biden is the racist? I mean, obviously not. So calling Donald Trump a white supremacist bigot, I'm trying to understand where she's coming from. In each vote, in each presidential election, 2016, 2020, and then 2024, Donald Trump received more and more of, and I'm going to air quote this, the black vote. So did all those black folks vote for Donald Trump because he was a racist, white supremacist bigot? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what she was saying. She's kind of nonsensical. And so trying to make, rational heads or tails out of some of the things that she says doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. I mean, this is Afton Bain. She is a Democrat. She is running against Matt Van Epps, the 7th Congressional District. By the way, in case you don't know, voted overwhelmingly for President Trump at over 61% last time around. So what is weird is that, again, not to belabor the point, and maybe I've just missed it, but I have not seen any standalone stories from WSMV, Channel 5. And I know that Channel 5 is so busy looking for white supremacism. There's no room for any other news at Channel 5 except their, by the way, can I ask this question? Joan, how prevalent is white supremacism in Tennessee if they need an investigative reporter to find it?
That is a really good question.
I'm asking the question.
Yeah.
Because that is literally all that Phil Williams seems to be focused on these days, to the point where it's just, I'm going to be honest with you, it's become kind of a joke. Meantime, you got, Jeremy Finley over there at SMV that is doing really good work. So I don't know what's going on over there at Channel 5, but whatever. But I don't see a lot of standalone stories. Now, my phone has just gone off, which tells me that somebody may be sending me. Nope. I thought that somebody might be sending me a story on the Tennessean that has actually covered this as a standalone story, the whole Afton Bain story, but nope. Also, by the way, speaking of the Tennessean, let's also not forget that Afton Bain called Tennessee racist in that piece that she wrote for the Tennessean back in 2019. This is what she said. Again, it was an opinion piece. She said, Tennessee is a racist state, and so is its state legislature. This is something that, again, she wrote back in 2019. That was when she was aligned with, and still is, aligned with Justin Jones. And that whole crowd, she was calling Tennessee racist because of the bust of Nathan Bedford Forrest that was in the state capitol. And she described racist policies of the state of Tennessee. So she says, and this is the actual quote, let me be clear, Tennessee is a racist state. Racism is in the air that we breathe. So that is Afton Bain. And so we'll have to wait and see if this, I don't know, do you think, yes or no, Joan, do you think this is going to impact the 7th Congressional District? I have so many people engaging with me on this particular story and what she is saying, what she has said, what she has written, and how she feels about the district that she wants to represent. The fact that the Daily Mail and some of these foreign media outlets are actually covering this more than the local news. I find that fascinating. But beyond all that, so do you think this will actually have much of an impact? Because the left is so entrenched in anti-Trump, orange man bad. And as I said yesterday, I think it was either during this show or the podcast that I recorded with Chris yesterday. But the Democrats, these are people that actually don't really care much, it seems to me, at this point about substance. And it's all just about orange man bad because, and I use this as the example, they're willing to vote for a guy like Jay Jones out there in Virginia.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, who wants to murder children and pee on their graves. So for what Afton Bain said, for the Democrats,
I want to believe that the people of Tennessee are much better quality people than those in that portion of Virginia. Because the people that voted for him are all the ones that are right around Washington, D.C.
Right.
I believe that the people of Tennessee are better people than that.
Yeah, I hope so. I do hope so. But you know what? For me, the Democrat Party for the state of Tennessee, I think that they are right up there with, you look at Justin Jones, you look at Justin Pearson, you look at Afton Bain, you look at Gloria Johnson, you look at all these folks, and, they're just as crazy as those 6 Democrats who came out with that video telling our members of the military to not follow orders that they may deem illegal. I mean, it's the same mindset, whether it is the Democrats here in the state of Tennessee or at the national level. So I don't know. We'll continue to follow this. I think it's going to be really interesting. I find this story fascinating. Number one, who covers it, who doesn't cover it, and what she has said and what she is saying now and what she is not acknowledging, which is the video. It is the original video. It is 5:23 on Nashville's Morning News. Joan, was coming up in the news at 5:30. 5:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. And welcome on in to a Friday. And it's going to be kind of rainy and gross all day, which I said earlier, I got a little bit of pushback on this, Joan. But I said it's going to be a nice day.
I
like days like this. I like the rain. I like the patter of the raindrops falling on the roof. I love this kind of weather. I'm sorry if you don't. We've got a Daily Dan poll. Do you want to hear it?
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
The Daily Dan poll is, did those, and I just texted it to Louie, and I'm going to get into this coming up next, did those Democrats who told the military to disobey POTUS commit sedition? Or right? Because I do you know what's so funny? I actually looked up the definition of like seditious behavior. Mm-hmm. They actually did commit. Is it sedition? Sedition. They actually committed sedition because I looked it up. Sedition, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Well, that's exactly what these Democrats did.
They told these people to disobey the orders of the commander-in-chief.
Yeah. I mean, they just... Now, does Donald Trump want them to be, put to death? No. But the Democrats are trying to make it seem like he is. We're going to get into that coming up here on Super Talk 99.7 at WTN. Take the Daily Dan poll. Watch us on YouTube. Like and subscribe if you would. Oh, by the way, real quick. I know we're running late, but... Monday is the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon.
Oh, right.
I am counting on you 5 o'clockers to start us off big, start us off early, and make those donations in the 5 o'clock hour. Because I've always felt like that 5 o'clock hour, a strong 5 o'clock hour, means that we're going to roll throughout the rest of the day. History proves that I'm right. It is 5:30 on WTN. 5:39, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. So as I was saying, Joan, 5 o'clockers, we need you to give on Monday for the Nashville Rescue Mission Radiothon. And if you don't give for me, that's fine. You give for the people at the mission.
Yep.
And for Joan. Because people are tired of hearing me. They want to hear you. And you're going to be there with me at the mission.
Yes.
So It's going to be very exciting. This is going to be your first time. And so we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to raise a lot of money. and I'm begging you folks, 5 o'clockers, man, $5, $10, whatever you can do.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be your whole paycheck. Come on, $5.
It's all you got to do, $5. So, but we'll do all that on Monday. All right, so real quick. You have these Democrats, a total of 6, I think. There were 6 Democrats who come out with this video. And what they're doing, and I've got the relevant part of the video, what they're basically doing is they are telling members of the military that they should disobey orders that they deem illegal from the commander-in-chief, i.e. Donald Trump.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard,
and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
our Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we...
All right, so there you go. So that is just a snippet of it. I mean, that's the main point of it, where they're trying to say, listen, if you're a member of the military, you can disobey illegal orders. Now, the question is, number one, this felt awfully random. So we just got done with the shutdown, and the Democrats got their butts handed to them in the shutdown, right? We just got done with, well, it's not over yet, but with the Epstein situation, where now we've had President Trump, both the Senate and the House, have now come out and said, release the Epstein files. This is looking bad for the Democrats. So now here we are with these 6 Democrats who are either veterans or members of the intelligence community, and they are speaking directly to U.S. service members where they say, you can ignore the commander-in-chief. And so I just wonder if they're trying to, because remember, I keep saying this. All this week I've been saying, okay, so what's next? What's next? Apparently this is what's next. And so now supposedly they're getting death threats. Here's what the president posted, President Trump posted, reacting to this. He said, this is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors. Lock them up, President DJT. And then he posted seditious behavior punishable by death. So I looked up the definition of seditious. I mean, and we read it right before the newscast. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. So would you say that that is sedition? Joan, what do you think? Do you think that is sedition?
I do. I mean, I think it is.
It does sound like it to me. Now,
so I looked up, by the way,
yes.
the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Mm-hmm. There's specific articles that deal with this. Article 90 is that service members can face charges such as willful disobedience of a superior officer, or Article 92, failure to obey an order. And But they have a duty to disobey illegal orders. It doesn't say an obligation, like one of the people on the video said, you must.
Right.
It says you have a duty to disobey illegal orders, but the punishment for doing so is considered insubordination, and it can lead to criminal charges. So what they're telling these people to do by disobeying what the commander-in-chief says, I do believe it's sedition.
So here's the deal. You have lawmakers, and by the way, a couple of things just real quick, is Trump responding the way that Trump is going to respond, seditious behavior punishable by death, and the word death is in capital letters. But here's the deal. If you're a member of the military and you decide to listen to these elected lawmakers and you decide that you are going to not carry out an order that was directed by your commanding officer or the president or whatever, well, you can be held accountable for that. And so where are all these politicians going to be, these Democrats going to be, if you have these members of the military that are saying, well, these lawmakers told me that I should not obey the commander in chief if I deem something as illegal. Okay, well, what is illegal? That would be my next question. Because just because a member of the military says, well, that's illegal, doesn't necessarily mean that it is. So what these Democrats are doing is they're trying to embolden members of the military into what, some sort of a coup kind of a thing? I mean, to me, the whole thing just, it reeks of it's bizarre, number one. It is random, number two. And number three, and I've got this audio, one of these Democrats was on Fox News with Martha McCallum, and he couldn't name one thing that the president has done that is actually illegal from the sense of utilizing the military. And I've got that audio, but our Daily Dan poll on YouTube, Louis, who is in for Sam today, how did we frame the question and what are people saying?
So we asked, did those Democrats who told the military to disobey POTUS commit sedition? 92% said yes and 8% said no.
Okay, so 92% said yes and 8% said no. And that's all fine, well, and good. So the majority of the audience does believe that they did. So I wonder if the follow-up question, all right, so then here's my question, Joan. Just because we believe that they committed sedition, that doesn't necessarily mean that we want them lined up with a firing squad.
Right.
But that there can be a serious case for them committing sedition. So now you have one of these politicians, Jason Crow. Maybe you've heard this audio already, but this is a guy named Jason Crow who is on with Martha McCallum, and she's asking him for specifics. Can you tell us specifically what it is that you're talking about? What did Donald Trump order you to do or order the military to do that was illegal?
What law are you talking about that's being broken? And then you said that he's implying that he might do something that they wouldn't want to uphold or follow through with in the future. What are you talking about specifically?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. Well, number one, the protests at Lafayette Square in the first Trump administration where he said, can't you just shoot them? Can't you just shoot them in the legs or something? That's his direct quote. And of course, the then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
That was not a military order. That was a comment.
Yeah, see, that's what they're, and you're going to notice through this whole thing where they're just taking comments, and some of these comments, honestly, are probably taken out of context, but they're taking comments and that the president may have made either on social media or he is accused of saying, and making it seem like that was actually a direct order from the president.
When that's coming from the president of the United States to your generals, don't you think that's a request? That's
I'm
a question?
asking specifically
number two,
what you're talking about.
Yeah, number two, he's also threatened to send the military into Chicago and other cities to, quote, go to war with those cities. Right? That is a very, very disturbing thing. Number three, he's also alluded to sending troops to polling stations, which is actually a violation of U.S. law. U.S. criminal law prohibits troops from going to polling stations, and he's alluded to that. So those are just one of many examples.
You're talking about
Donald Trump
illusions. You're not talking about actual policy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not talking about things that are members of our service members who we revere and respect are actually being asked to do. So
yeah, I mean, he has no concrete example of Donald Trump asking our military to do anything illegal. I think this is a narrative grab. I think this is obviously like a publicity stunt, and these Democrats are trying to, number one, control some sort of a narrative and keep hold of the headlines. And they also baited Donald Trump into reacting the way that Donald Trump reacted, which is sedition equals death. So now they get to play the victim card by trying to say that Donald Trump is telling his supporters that they need to be either killed or that they ought to be brought up on charges and put to death.
So when you see this video on all over the place, when you see this video on social media, I think a lot of people scratch their heads and they say, what exactly are they talking about? Are they talking about
Martha,
not allowing gunboats to make it to the United States carrying drugs?
No.
Is that what you're talking about?
Martha, here's a novel idea. How about we actually prevent things from happening before they become a problem?
I think that's what they're
Right?
trying to do.
What you're saying is we have to wait until there's a problem to respond to that problem.
No, I'm not.
Right? As a military officer, what I think is important is we train people, we give them information, we prepare people for challenges coming down the pike. That is what I did as a commander in the military. That's what I'm doing now. As we are standing by our troops, we are reminding them of their obligation.
Order from the commander?
By the way, she asked 4 times. 4 times. What specific order did the commander-in-chief give the military that was illegal?
I don't want to wait.
That we are asking our military to carry out. Are you objecting to? This is very, very vague. And it was so vague in this video. I don't think people could figure out what you guys were all talking about, honestly.
Martha, Donald Trump has made a series of very...
So in other words, he just kept on. He didn't have any answer whatsoever. And I think that, that interview with McCallum, it did make them look really bad. And here's part of what I would say about this is, okay, so how bad was your narrative grab that the members of the media actually had to call your offices to try to figure out what in God's green earth you were talking about? And so I think that we have seen some Democrats and all Republicans asking the question, what in the world are you referring to? Because you're not giving us any actual details as far as accusations. You did have Caroline Leavitt, and she pretty much excoriated not only the members of the media, but also the Democrats.
This morning, President Trump accused 6 Democratic lawmakers of seditious behavior punishable by death. Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to, because many in this room want to talk about the president's response, but not what brought the president to responding in this way.
Yep.
You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders. The sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos, and it could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command.
And here's the other thing. Isn't it up to the elected members of Congress if they want to stop the president? They need to do it legislatively, not calling on the military to not listen to the commander-in-chief.
These 3 members of Congress, I will also add, knew exactly what they were doing. You look at Alyssa Slotkin. She's a former member of the CIA. Mark Kelly was a captain in the U.S. Navy. Maggie Goodlander was a naval officer, and notably, she is also the wife of Joe Biden's national security former advisor, Jake Sullivan. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as former members of our military, as veterans, as former members of the national security apparatus to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law. I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice and the Department of War to decide.
Uh-oh. So does that mean that the Department of Justice is going to get involved in this? You know what? Maybe they should, be honest with you. FAFO. FAFO Friday is what we'll call it, Joan. FAFO Friday.
I like it.
Do you
and
like
that's
that?
the appropriate way to follow through with this. Go to the Department of Justice.
Yeah. That's all you got to do. Go to the Department of Justice and see what they have to say. It is 5:53 on Nashville's Morning News. Joan's got the news at 6. Joan. 5:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends, and happy Friday to you. To be a fly on the wall as Zohran Mamdani goes to the White House today. How do you think that's going to go? I don't know if it's going to go very well, but I'm here to tell you that he had an interview. I think this was with local New York TV. And I'm going to play the video and the audio coming up here at some point in the next hour. But basically, you've got the governor, Kathy Hochul, that is essentially saying that he's not going to be able to do a lot of the things that he wants to do without state support. And all of a sudden, you've got these Mamdani supporters who are all up in arms. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. So you're telling me that your Lord and Savior, Zoran Mamdani, lied to you about what he would be able to do? And you're shocked by that? And so now the question is, who are the Democrats in New York? Who are they going to be angry with? Are they going to be angry with Mamdani, or are they going to be angry with Kathy Hochul? But I guess the question is, okay, so what exactly is going to happen when Mamdani shows up at the White House? This was Caroline Levitt yesterday.
I will just add, it speaks volumes that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states or blue cities, in a city that's becoming much more left than I think this president ever anticipated in his many years of living in New York himself.
All right, so there you go. We'll have to see how that goes with Mamdani and the Donald. It is 6 o'clock on WTN.